Yo people, then we here 2 months later with the HP Omen Max 16 gaming laptop. Let's see if it's been worth its over £2,000 price point. Yes, what's good people, it's man like Jamo. Now like I said, we out here with the HP Omen 16 gaming laptop ting, and just as a disclaimer, yes, this did come directly from the guys at HP, literally just for this review video and for me to play a couple of games on it. Now it goes directly back to HP after this video is done, and HP don't get to see this video before it goes out. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the specs real quick. Now, I can't lie, specs are looking pretty decent on this one. Core Ultra 9 Intel ting, 2nd gen processor, 32GB of RAM, terabyte of SSD in there. You got Wi-Fi 7 on board and an RTX 5080. Now, moving onto the screen, as the name suggests, we're dealing with a 16-inch ting. It's also 16:10 aspect ratio, so you get a little bit more vertical screen real estate when you're playing games or just doing a little bit of productivity. We're looking at 2K resolution, so it's 2560 by 1600, IPS panel, and we get up to 240Hz refresh rate there. So if you do want to do a little bit of esports warrior in, you can get that on this laptop. Now, moving on to ports and I/O, on the left-hand side, it looks like you got two Thunderbolt 4 ports there, not Thunderbolt 5, by the way. 3.5mm headphone combination microphone jack there. On the right-hand side of the laptop, you've literally got one USB-A port, literally just one, that's it. And some vents, like vibes, like that's all you get. Now, on the back of the device, you do get another USB-A port there, HDMI 2.1, Ethernet port, and you get a little power port, a little barrel ting to keep it powered by that massive adapter. To be honest, the adapter is not the biggest adapter I've ever seen in my life, but it's 330 watt in it. That's what it is, and it's not the smallest adapter I've ever seen either. Now, obviously, design is subjective. I think it looks kind of cool. You got the Omen logo on the top lid right there. Everything else is kind of this matte, dark grey kind of situation. Doesn't really look like a gaming laptop until you open the lid. You see the little graphics on the bottom right of the keyboard. You see the RGB on the keyboard. You see the RGB light bar underneath. That's when you can tell, like, oh, okay, you know, we got something else going on here. This laptop's a little bit special. But apart from that, yeah, not mad at the design at all. Now, speaking of keyboard, let's move on to that RGB light bar at the bottom and the RGB on the keys. It looks nice and vibrant. No problem seeing that in any kind of light. It looks really cool, really gamery kind of thing, and you can customize it how you want further in the settings, and I'll show you guys that later. But the keyboard itself, in terms of comfortability, not too bad. Definitely good enough to play games, but I wouldn't say mad comfy in terms of typing or productivity kind of thing. If I'm video editing, it's cool. If I'm typing up an essay or something like that in Microsoft Word, then it's a little bit annoying, fam, because the keys are very close together. You're always going to prefer a full-size keyboard, especially when you got big sausage fingers like mine. But, you know, for a laptop keyboard, it's not terrible. It's kind of a little bit above the bog standard, I'd say. Now, in terms of performance, I know it's pointless saying, but as this is a gaming laptop, obviously it does small tasks easily. Like, I'm talking your web browsing, your Microsoft Office, all them kind of things there. If you're buying a gaming laptop just to do that stuff, you're basically wasting your money, fam. You don't need that much power. But yeah, doing up Internet Explorer, however many browsers and tabs you want to open up at the same time, yeah, you're pretty much good there with that Intel Ultra 9 and the 32GB of RAM. All right, people, them a little bit of a microphone and web camera test on the Omen 16 gaming laptop. Let me know what you guys think it sounds like, how you think it looks. I've got natural light coming from the window, but apart from that, not much is going on. I think this thing's at 1080p, 30 frames per second maximum. Yeah, it looks pretty much good enough for like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all that kind of stuff, but wouldn't actually use it for a content creation thing. Now, whilst I'm not mad at the webcam and microphone quality, like I said, I wouldn't use it for content creation because it just looks a bit too grainy and too fuzzy for me to have good quality video on like YouTube or any kind of content creation platform. But yeah, it is there in a pinch if you need it for a bit of video editing. I'd probably go with an external webcam and microphone myself. Now onto the bit we've actually been waiting for. Let's check out the gaming performance of this gaming laptop. And as you can see, Cult of the Lamb, nice, easy to play indie game. If you haven't tried it, you definitely need to try it immediately. We're getting over 240 frames per second easily on this game. Max settings, 2K resolution. Yeah, no issues on that, obviously. Next up, we had to run up on some Grid Autosport. Still gonna be one of my favorite racing games. I love Codemasters racing game. They hit the perfect balance between arcade racing and sim racing, if you're asking me, and they always work perfect with racing rules. Anyway, I digress. Working perfectly here, easily getting over 100 frames per second, fully maxed, fully high spec, fully like graphics to the maximum kind of thing, full resolution. You know the vibes already. It just runs effortlessly and it looks really good. It's just the same, I can't really drive quite well on it. Now on Ratchet and Clank, which I swear down is one of the best looking games on PS5 and probably for me one of the best looking games on PC, we're getting 100 to 130 frames per second in 2K max settings, max what they call the thing now, flipping ray tracing, all of that is on and turned up to the maximum, and we're still getting over 100 frames per second, which is plenty good for me and plenty good considering we're playing at 2K 16 by 10, 2560 by 1600. Game is running smoothly. This is the Ratchet and Clank experience as the developers probably wanted it, at a high frame rate and high resolution. Now, you know, say we got the esports warrior like 240 hertz panel here, so we had to get on some Counter-Strike 2, seeing how it feels. My skill level will never be enough to fully get the most out of a 240 hertz screen. Even as I'm mowing down these CPU players, it's still a struggle for me, but it feels really good. I am filming this at 60. The screen is going at 240, and I think YouTube will give you 60 at the end of the day. So obviously, you're not going to really see it as good as it's looking to me right now. But yeah, if you're actually a pro player or beginning to be a pro player, practicing to be a pro player, you got all the hertz that you need to get that little bit of a upper hand on your opponents when you're playing online. Now, just before we go any further, I wanted to quickly stop and show you guys the HP Omen app, which basically lets you customize the laptop a lot further than the normal Windows settings. Stuff like increasing gaming performance, the RGB on the keyboard, all that good stuff there. And you got like a performance mode and eco mode to save extra battery if you want. What is really interesting to me though is it does also have a mux switch. So if you want to raw dog those NVIDIA graphics, you don't care about saving battery, you can switch it to NVIDIA graphics mode, which means any little thing that it's doing, it's gonna use the NVIDIA graphics to do it. And obviously that's gonna suck more power, but it's gonna give you better performance in the long run. And I think this is the thing with all gaming laptops now, but when you first like sign in, you get 3 months free Xbox Games Pass. That's cool. I feel like that's cool. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool, fam. I like a little bit of Xbox Game Pass. Now, in all honesty, I haven't really talked about battery life or gaming performance off of battery because I don't know how many people actually game on their gaming laptop off of battery. Like, the performance is always worse, and the battery is going to last you an hour and a half maximum on most of these Windows gaming laptops. So for me, I just feel it's kind of pointless. If you do want that information though, let me know and I'll quickly drop it in the comment section below. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really have that many issues with this laptop. My issues are more personal preferences. For example, the screen is good, but if I'm paying over £2,000 for a gaming laptop, I want an OLED screen. I'm not gonna lie. I prefer a glossier finish to a matte finish. I don't know. I'm just that glossy OLED guy. That's what I prefer. Just like on the smaller 14-inch version of this Omen 16 kind of thing. Like, I feel like it looks better. The screen looks better. That's just me. Don't shoot me. I'm just giving you my opinion in it. But let me know what you guys think about the Omen 16. Do you think that it's covered everything you need in a gaming laptop? Let me know and make sure you guys like, follow and subscribe because it makes YouTube think that I'm actually a good YouTuber. All right, cool.